Hey, I swear.
Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business, get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email, gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Edmonton's go-to station for all things sports is Sports 1440.
From Lowetide to Kevin Carrius and Jason Gregor, we deliver the latest on your favorite teams.
Tune in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week
To Sports 1440.
The weather doesn't care about your shift or your schedule. Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts let you battle back against the ever-changing elements. Carhartt's durable water-repellent technology lets light rain beat up and roll right off. Layer up and stay on the job longer without getting drenched. Get your Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts at all 3 of our Edmonton job site workwear locations.
Job site workwear, tough people, tough jobs.
Considering an EV, Subaru is the right choice. Discover their latest electric vehicle innovations, starting with the brand new Solterra, in stock and ready to test drive. Or the Trail Seeker, an EV at its core, a Subaru at heart, and built for adventure. Or the Uncharted This Sporty, all-new small compact SUV brings new levels of driving enjoyment to the all-electric space. Right now, Subaru is offering interest rates as low as 0.49%. Welcome to electric. Welcome to Subaru.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I am a used RV salesman. But just because I love being a used RV salesman doesn't mean you would like doing my job all day long.
If you're selling your RV privately, that means that you have to be an RV salesman too.
That's right, Bob, and there's a lot of work involved. You have to find the customers, be ready to show it at a time and place that's convenient for the other guy, all the stuff you take for granted when you come to No Bull.
There's not a lot of glamour in being a used RV salesman, Rick.
I don't do it for the glamour, Bob. I love helping people enjoy the great outdoors on their terms. It's my life's work, but it doesn't have to be yours. When you sell your quality used RV with us, we take care of everything. Cleaning, repairs, commercials like this one to bring people in, and besides, I like being a used RV salesman a lot more than you do.
And that's No Bull.
NobleRV.ca.
You need the lowdown? It's with Lowetide right now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, Oilers King tonight at 8:30. That doesn't leave much time for you or the Oilers to recover from last night's game against the Ducks. Anyone miss Stuart Skinner now? Wow. I believe Chris Knobloch had a good lineup and a good game plan last night. The team looked very poor. This is like 10 games in a row. Remember the 8-game homestand? They went 4-4, weren't good. Then they play Calgary, and last night a stinker. At some point in time, 10 games, and they're not responding. And I do think the coach had a good game plan. Now, I understand they had Paul Coffey in there. But Darnell Nurse did not have a good game. Tristan Jarry does not look like a number one goaltender. And I do believe, and we'll talk about it today, that Chris Knobloch may be in a little bit of trouble as head coach of these Edmonton Oilers. They could miss the playoffs. The Lowdown is brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Family-owned, community-driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. We're live on YouTube and Sports 1440 Radio. Online, iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, Radio Player Canada. And after the show, we're on Apple and Spotify podcast. We tweeted out on X as well. We're on Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, at jfenwick04, and at Mac McLennan. All right. Text or call us at 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. The power went out at my house last night, and the power went out at my house this morning. So you're going to get grumpy Lowetide today. I'm in a little bit of an edgy mood, so that may come out on the radio. I apologize in advance. I'll try to temper it down, but I'm not in the mood. If the power goes out, I'm walking. I'm just getting in the car, and I'm driving to a town that has power. That's all I'm saying. Our guest today, Bagged Milk. We'll also have declinations and, of course, wall-to-wall Oilers rants all day. I am sure. It's time for the introductions. Dealing with the other three members of this show is like herding cats for a producer, but she does it well. Ladies and gentlemen, Mackenzie McLennan. Mackenzie, how are you?
I'm good. I feel like that's a very good description of what this is.
Yes, it's true, because everybody wants to talk. Everybody wants their mic on. And then, you got to play the right music. And if there's any mistake at all, we all stare at you. Who is the hardest nut at Shawshank in terms of, dealing with them? Is it the old man or is it one of the two youngsters?
You're pretty easy to deal with. So it's either Josh or Declan.
No. The reason I'm easy to deal with is I don't hear anything. So, you can ask me a question and I won't respond, and you'll just go ahead and do what you want and we'll be fine. He brings a unique combination of exceptional sports knowledge, incredible movie recall, and the ability to hawk a loogie on demand. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick.
Yeah. Hi. Right now, I could hawk a loogie on demand if I so chose.
What's going on that you guys are running around like chickens with your heads cut off?
Mackenzie's camera has stopped working.
Well, yeah.
And so, as in just like it's pitch black, so we're having a real issue.
Maybe it's nervous.
It might be nervous. The worst part is it was clearly working this morning, so I don't know what happened.
Did she do to it?
She didn't do anything.
Well, I
She's
think
just
maybe
been
she
sitting
did.
there doing her job.
Wow.
So, that's the wrong one. Just so you know.
He tells people this is the best time of year for sports, but he's secretly counting the days until college football begins. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger, everybody. You put the thing in the wrong thing, man.
All right, we'll figure that out later, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe during the break.
Wow. I thought you knew everything about this radio station.
I would say I do, more or less.
No, but like in all honesty, without being a jerk about it, I think over a 24-hour period, if you were forced to be the host, the producer, and set up all the video, you could do it if you had a 10-minute nap every hour.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right.
10-minute nap every hour. Like every 2 hours even.
You fell asleep yesterday. You went out to the sofa and fell asleep.
I didn't, because people were looking at me, but I tried to. Like my plan was to sleep on this chair we have out in the lobby.
So you would,
and people were like looking at me, being like, "Hey, what's this guy doing?"
Do you remember the Mexican circus that used to come here?
Oh yeah,
with the dog-faced boys and stuff like
Sure.
that. You wouldn't want it to be that.
No,
that was one of the sorriest times in the human history when they would have people run around and do that kind of thing.
Absolutely, it was.
Yeah, they probably should do that for radio, right? Like if you had a window that people could look at you. This show would probably be really popular.
Well, we used to have one.
Yeah, we
used to have one.
Yeah, it was quite the deal. All right, I'm going to go around the room. I'm going to start because I got it right here in front and it's not long. Declan's got 11 points, so that's going to take about an hour, and then we'll let Josh and Mackenzie complete it. Oilers do play tonight. Goalies, we know they have a tough time playing behind this team. Everybody blames the defense, and Darnell Nurse had a poor night last night, but Tristan Jarry has to be better. He cost a lot to bring here, and he needs to deliver. I know it's a high-pressure job, and I know that Stuart Skinner's gone because you didn't like him, and I know that you're going to get mad at Tristan Jarry, and I don't think that's fair. You've got to give him at least this year and next in order to figure out what's going on. He's trying to deal with this defensive core and the support that he doesn't get. That said, last night was a real struggle game for this team. Darnell Nurse did not play well. I do wonder why he plays so much when he's not playing well, and I would be critical of Coach Knobloch if that pairing had played poorly a year ago, but they played well. So there's a good pairing there We just haven't seen it. And I have no quarrel with Stastny Emberson. Emberson made a great play to save a goal. He took a penalty, but that was a fantastic play made by Emberson. And the top pairing I was okay with, although I'm a little worried about Matthias Ekholm. I like the third line, the rugged line. I miss Podkolzin with Draisaitl. Matt Savoy had a brilliant game. Oh my God. I loved the game by Matt Savoy. I'm so disappointed I can't lead with that today, but I just can't. And the top line was absolutely nails, as the kids say. That was a great line last night. McDavid, Hyman, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I'm going to talk about a knob maybe being in trouble in two shakes of a lamb's tail. First, though, I want to go around the room and get a summary. Declan.
Yeah, I'll try and make this quick because there are two voices after me. Then, of course, your show. We want to get back to you. But it was a 6-5 game, so I want to go over kind of everything here really quickly, goal by goal. Oilers, awesome start. Jack Roslovic, that was sick. Great little sniz, 13 seconds into the game.
By
Start.
Savoy.
I mean, yeah, I'm telling you. And you mentioned Savoy. I have them in my notes later here. Second goal for the Oilers. This is a goal by goal breakdown for each team. Thought it was great defensive work by Nuge to have his stick there. And then great, like that goal, that was a tough one over Dostal's right shoulder from that angle. Like that wasn't the easiest
a great shot. And he doesn't shoot often, but he does well.
Third goal, great pass by Ek, great redirection by Hyman. Like that redirection, those guys, they make it look so easy, but that's not always the easiest play to get your stick on. Hyman made it look effortless. Bush's tap in, his goal. Don't even think he took a stride in the offensive zone. Glided backdoor, whole play, easy tap in, little reminiscent of Carlson's goal. We'll talk about
Justin
that later.
Schultz used to do that a lot. It's a skill play, and Bouchard has so much.
I didn't watch the play back more than like twice, but I don't know if he took a stride in the offensive zone. He just glided right in, easy backdoor. You love to see that.
Of the game is incredible.
Absolutely. The second unit power play. If you watch Savoy on that shift, that was all effort. That was all hustle. That is exactly what you want to see from that second unit power play that isn't thought of as the skilled power play unit. And quite frankly, doesn't really get ice time. So you love to see that. Now, this is going to lead into the Ducks 6 goal. Andrew Mangiapane. That was your moment. The game was 5-4. That was the cleanest look you will ever get. And you butchered it. And then you were like, I know it was kind of a bit of a scuffle coming back, but it looked like he was playing tiddlywinks instead of back checking. I'm not really going to get too hard on him for that one because it was a back and forth kind of thing. I don't know who it was with. Ducks, first goal. That puck probably shouldn't go across ice through 3 Edmonton Oilers, but I think Jari's got to make that save. Second goal, there was no body on Alex Killorn for like 30 seconds. I probably want better rebound control on that, but Alex Killorn was there wasn't a body on him for 30 seconds.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, but nothing really good for the Oilers.
The third goal, kind of a weird one. Like Carlson, it was a good effort play there, but that's probably also a puck you want Bush or McDavid to get out of there and to clear. He was clearly the third man in on that puck, but again, like it was a good effort play by him. Fourth goal, real simple ozone setup. That's a save you got to make. Is that a weak wrister from the point? I know he was kind of screened by Ross Johnston.
I want to give him a little bit of credit on the screen, but you've got to make that save.
That was a really weak wrister from the point that wasn't tipped. Fifth one, puck goes down the other way. Third time, Tristan, like you got to make that save.
Well, you know what? There's two things on that play.
Save on the 5.
On that play, there's two things. Number one, Darnell Nurse backs up too much. Man, you got to force the play. You nick that guy in his ass, man.
Yep.
And so Nurse is a culprit there, but Jari had to make the save.
And that leads me to the last one. Like Darnell Nurse's turnover on that last goal was just, I mean, like, how do you not, you didn't play the puck at all. You couldn't do anything.
He was chasing.
Oh my goodness, was he ever? And then, the extended kind of play there. Like if you, again, similar to watching Bush where he just glides by, like if you watch Cutter Gauthier on that ozone possession, which was brief to be fair, no, not within 10 feet of him.
No.
Like no one is near me and Connor Ingram, to his credit, he really laid out to try to make that save.
I felt bad for
I felt bad for him too, man. He laid out, but he had no chance. That's a goal every day of the week.
But you know what's bothersome about this is that I don't think Jari's the starting goalie anymore.
No, I agree. I think Ingram's the number one. And this is the overarching point of the game before we get to you and Mac and Josh, obviously. This was a game the Oilers deserved to lose. This was a game they lost. And it was a game that has been reminiscent of the Oilers season.
Last 10 games, they are not responding to the coach. He's in trouble.
First 4-game losing streak this season.
Yep.
I agree on a lot of that. Declan, Darnell Nurse had a really bad game.
Really bad.
Really bad game. Good shout on the Mangiapane thing. Going wide like that, you can't really do that. I really like Trent.
The haters are talking about you, 88.
I really like Trent Frederick's game last night. I thought he set up a lot of good chances. I thought he was really good on the checks and everything like that. I thought he was quite good. I would have liked to see him in the scuffle for a couple of times, but that's neither here nor there.
And I didn't like Podkolzin on that line only because I wanted him on Leon's line.
But New World Order. I thought that third line played quite well, honestly, all things considered. I do have issues with the Ingram goal because Cutter Gauthier whiffed on it the first time. And
but
he
it's
couldn't
so far to get over, man.
Yeah, man.
But he had the time because he starts tracking the puck and he loses it. It's in the same spot you were tracking it to, and he's looking over in front of him like, where'd it go? Cutter whiffs on it. Then he goes, oh my God, it's over here. I have a little bit of a problem with that one, but not as much of a problem as all of Jari's missed saves.
Also, the last two goals
really bad.
I'm gonna give Nurse like a big like F on both of them.
Oh yeah,
backed in too much, and where you're gonna chase him to Laredo. What good does that do?
Yeah, like that again. It falls on Nurse at the beginning of both of those. It's really bad. But Jari needed to make the save on goal 5.
All right. I'm sorry.
So yeah, poor effort from the Oilers all the way around. It was funny scrolling Twitter after seeing people saying they should waive Tristan Jarry.
Well, no, they're not going to do that. You've got to give him a chance.
Exactly.
But I don't know if he's going to be the starter for much longer. He needs to perform better. All right, Mackenzie.
Okay. I'm staying mainly positive because I feel like there is a lot of it's a lot easier to kind of point out the positives.
Mm-hmm.
You think it's easier to point out the positives after that?
Well, you know what? Like the
Savoy
first
played well.
2.5 periods, like I
Savoy's
saw
best
a
game.
lot of positives. So a lot of odd man rushes for the Oilers. That is the Ducks game. So, and the Oilers are quick off the rush. They just can't always convert off the rush. Savoy, really good looks. I love having him on Draisaitl's line. He looked unreal on the penalty kill as well. That poke check that led to them having some possession was unreal. Loved that. Podkolzin also had like 3 really good looks as well. And I really like that third line as well. I am a Trent Frederick believer.
Thank you.
So that was a very good game from him. And he set up Mangiapane for a look as well. So I liked to see that for both of them. Also, 3 missed calls for the Oilers in a row.
Yeah.
In a row, which was really frustrating.
Well, one was
to watch.
blatant interference, and they scored on that play.
Yeah.
Down at the other end. That was Bull Durham. You're all making really good points. I'll say this, that let me ask you, and then we're going to take a break, but I do want to talk about the coach here in the next segment. But, McDavid played 22 minutes, Leon 20.
He was second in forwards on shorthanded ice time.
How much gas do you think they have tonight?
Listen, not an Oilers fan, but I'm a very stand pat. I like Connor McDavid. Too bad I have to root against him all the time. That guy is a competitor. I think he has all the juice in the tank in the world because he wants to go to the playoffs. And this road trip right now is basically like this is the most important road trip of their season.
One thing I do like, I thought I would rip the coach if I thought he did poorly last night, but his left defenseman at 5-on-5, 17:48 for Nurse, 17:07 for Wollman, and 15:21 for Spencer Stastny. He was rolling the defenseman as much as he possibly could, and they were in trouble on the Nurse-Wollman pairing. And a little bit on the Bouchard Ekholm, but the problem was Nurse Ekholm and mostly Nurse, and even with some of that, I think that you can probably blame the goalie more than the defensive pairing. All right, very busy show. I know you want to talk about it. We are going to read your text next on Rumors at 1:40 today. We have declinations. What have we got?
Declan CAA.
All right, and at 1:00 today, it's Bag Milk to go over last night's game and look forward to tonight's game against the Kings. Was that you?
Yeah, there's the loogie right there.
Why can we not get through one show without
It's not going to happen. I'm sorry, it's never going to happen.
Or derelict in listening to the show. Wow.
Huh? What did you say there?
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Mr. Rooter gets a colonoscopy.
All right, Mr. Rooter, just relax. We're almost finished.
Now, what am I looking at on the screen?
That's your large intestine.
Wow, the pipes of the human body. Incredible. This is just like when we use a camera for sewer inspection, except you probably don't find tree roots.
You'd be surprised what we find.
You know, once I found a bunch of Hot Wheels.
Hey, me too.
For a plumber who values healthy pipes, call Mr. Rooter.
Made for some rough roads, but it means trails are now packed and ready for action. Don't miss out on riding adventures this winter with a Ski-Doo from Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. Work or play with new 2026 Generation 5 models with class-leading design and power. And right now, take advantage of 5.99% financing OAC. Only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert. And always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9. Check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, junior chicken, or chicken snack wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
On Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. We're talking about doing a March Madness bracket. Who's going to do it and who's going to keep track of it? Like, it just becomes this big workload thing.
Fantasy Frenzy always puts on a March Madness bracket that is kind of like the Sports 1440 bracket if you want to get involved.
Right.
Brandon's watching. He knows.
It always feels
You gonna
like
fill
Brandon's watching me. What?
That was Rockwell.
Yeah. It's a song. Time for Rumors, brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. We believe you should create your own electricity. Let's build a brighter, sustainable future. GreatCanadianSolar.com. All right. Look, I hate when the coach gets fired. Full disclosure, the only Edmonton Oilers coach that I've really ever talked to at any length, and not much, was Dallas Eakins. I really liked Dallas Eakins. He was willing to talk about hockey, and he taught me a lot, and I really appreciated the patience that he had. And I did try to, as with all the coaches who come through here, to be respectful and not to pile on. But there is a point at which the coach isn't being heard at a level that moves the needle. And we're going to find out here between now and the end of the year exactly what's going on with this team. Now, they just signed Chris Knobloch, so they're not going to fire him. And yet, if the team tunes you out, then what are you going to do? And I'm going to give you an example. In the fall of 2000, Craig McTavish took over as the head coach for the Edmonton Oilers. And Kevin Lowe had coached them for a year, and then Kevin Lowe became the general manager. It became very, very obvious early on in Craig McTavish's time as the Oilers coach that he was very good at it. Extremely intelligent guy. His press conferences were always the best. And he would inform you about why he did things, why he made certain decisions. And I will tell you, a lot of the logosphere and a lot of the I guess the modern, fancy stats came out of that group, including Tyler Dello, Josh Fenwick's dad, others, Tim Barnes, a bunch of other folks. And McTavish was sort of the individual that we monitored and put under a magnifying glass. I mean, they did. I was following along. 8 years later, 2009, I guess, summer of 2009, McTavish said basically, everybody says they fired him. I think McTavish walked, honest to God. I think he was done. He said, it's too long at the fair. He said, when I started here, everybody listened to me. And then after a while, sometimes you've got the room, sometimes you don't have the room, but you have the young players. And then this year, I felt like I didn't really have very many people. I'm surmising here what he said. And last night, and certainly the eight-game homestand, suggests to me that one of two things has happened. They've lost faith in Chris Knobloch, or the meddling from the ownership that brought Paul Coffey here has this team, in my opinion, from ownership. It might have come from the Moon or Jeff Jackson or Stan Bowman, but I following this team as I do for many years, I believe that this probably came from Mr. Cates. And so Paul Coffey is in the system now. He's coaching. We cannot judge Paul Coffey on the game last night. That would be wildly unfair. I did notice some things they were doing. They did use the middle of the ice more, which I was encouraged by, and they did have more opportunities. The defensemen jumped up. Sometimes that'll cost you. There were some 2-on-1s, but for the most part, I thought they played pretty well. If the goaltender had played like ordinarily well, we'd have a different conversation today. It didn't happen and we move on, but there might be something there in Paul Coffey's work. But if this doesn't work, I think you're going to get either to the deadline or the end of the year where this is an organization that is a house divided at coach. And I don't know how you get back there. You've already undermined the head coach a little bit by bringing Paul Coffey in. And I don't know how the management team is going to get that back to dough, as in do-re-mi, by the end of the summer, and then get them on the same page in the fall. And some of this is about ego. There's no doubt about that. But there's not a coach, I don't think, alive who would actively try to help the team not win. It's not like that. But there are push-pull ideas on this team. This organization has spent most of this year not agreeing on the gapping between the defense and the forwards. And that's a big part of the problem that they have. They don't have a lot of support for the defense, and because of that, there's not a lot of support for the goaltending. Last night was about the goalie not playing well. But this is a hard team to play in front of. It's a hard team to play in front of. And they're going to have to figure this out. This comes down to, bottom line here, the Edmonton Oilers are a team that looks like a Stanley Cup contender when Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are on the ice. And when they're off the ice, they look like an expansion team. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to tell you what the problem is. I can tell you about the outlet passes. I can tell you about the goaltending being an issue. I can tell you Darnell Nurse is probably playing too much, and maybe he and Wallman aren't going to be a good pair. But I don't know what's going on behind, and I don't know how structurally they can change this. I do know that if this team misses the playoffs, and it's possible, we're going to have a whole different conversation here very, very soon about how this organization is going, because I love that Savoy is playing well and he's a young player. And I think Ike Howard can be a player. They're both small, though. You might have to change out one of those players. This team, if they go down this year, then there's going to be some real changes in the summertime. And I don't know how you avoid that. If every offseason they're looking for someone to play with Nurse, then Nurse is the problem. Well, here's the thing that I will say about that. Nurse, when he was with Cody Ceci, as much as people bitch and moan, he played pretty well. Nurse was when he was Troy Stetcher, he played pretty well. And last year, Wallman and Nurse played well. This year, Nurse has not looked good, I don't think, for more than 5 games in a row. I don't know what's up. I'm not sure whether what they're asking him to do is too much, because the Oilers do ask a lot of their defensemen. But he's not having a good year, and when that happens, you have to fade him. They haven't done that yet, but I suspect it's soon. Would you be surprised if he was on the third pair tonight?
I'd be a little surprised just because of who, his stature as a player, if you will.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's unwarranted, like, at all. But it's that thing. It's like, can you really, as a coach, put him on the third pairing?
You have two choices. You can put him with Bouchard and then move Ekholm down with Wallman.
Yep.
Or you can put Wallman on the left side and put, I'll say, Emberson on the right side.
Yeah.
And then you've got, an interesting third pair. But the choices aren't great, but they can't keep. They're like 4 and 6 in their last 10.
Yeah.
And Anaheim passed them last night.
Yeah, they
Seattle
did.
has
I think Anaheim has 2 games in hand, too.
Right. Yes, they've got 2 games in hand. Seattle's 1 point behind, I think. They've got 2 games in hand. And LA is 2 games in hand, and they're 4 points behind. Tonight's a big game. Are you confident they're going to win tonight? I'm not.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask if I was confident they make the playoffs. My answer to that would still be yes. Am I confident they win tonight? No. Of course, I don't think I can go into an Oilers game for the rest of the season saying I'm confident they will win this game. Through 59 games this season, they are 28-31 with a +3 goal differential. 59 games is not 10 games or 15 games or 20 games. That is 3/4 of the season. Of course, I'm not confident they're going to go into any, especially a team. I know Fiala is a big loss, but especially a team like LA that is chasing them and is hungry and went out and got, oh, by the way, Artemi Panarin at the deadline to make this team a little bit more offensively sound. 2 assists, was it?
No, he looks really good.
So no, I'm not confident.
Here's the deal. The absence of alternatives clears the brain. So they don't have any money. They don't have a pot to piss in terms of, making trades at the deadline. They don't have a lot of assets. 2027 first, and I guess you could trade Savoy or Ike Howard, but Quinn Hudson doesn't have value. So you don't have the torque to make trades. You don't have the cap room to make trades. And you're set. You've already made your big trade, which was for the goaltender. And I think Connor Ingram was a good trade, by the way. And I think you should be patient with Tristan Jarry and let him figure out how to play in front of or behind this team. But all of that said, you are limited in what you can do. You're not getting results. This is I'm telling you, if you look at why coaches are fired, it's not because they're not popular individually. It's not because the general manager changed his mind. It's because you can't get out of a rut and the team isn't playing well enough and you can't inspire them to win hockey games. And I look, they may win tonight and they may win the next 6 games. But right now, this is a bad team with really, really great players on it. The difference between McDavid, Draisaitl, and McDavid and Draisaitl on the ice and the Oilers when they're off the ice is 10 million miles. And they still refuse to play Ryan Nugent-Hopkins at third line center, which I do not understand. LT, Kyle Dubas took Bowman to school in the Skinner trade for Jarry, and the Oilers are paying the price for it. Maybe it's time to complete overhaul at the management level, Spinner. I was not in favor of I thought Chiarelli was going to be really good. I said it live on the air. I wrote about it. I did all that. I thought that was going to be the real deal. It was not. I was very, very hesitant with Ken Holland when he arrived, but I will give him credit. 5 years after he got here, they made it to the final in Game 7 of the final. And the year after, which was the coda, the ghost of his team, or he was the ghost of that team, they also made it to the final. Ken Holland didn't like to make trades. He signed a lot of free agents to a lot of no movements, but he got him to 2 Stanley Cup finals. I don't think Bowman has had enough time, but his goalie is not playing well, like at all. And I wonder if this organization, because if I'm right about this, the owner was the one who said, we got to get Paul Coffey back here. He's my advisor. I need him closer to the action. There's 2 reasons why you'd put him closer to the action. So you could turn it around and so you could monitor what's going on. And I think that Paul Coffey may want to be the general manager, not coach. But this thing looks really bad today. There's no sugarcoating it.
I got one for you. That actually comes in from Northside Lou, and it's not just you, it's for everyone. It's for the text line. But Northside Lou made the point. By the way, a trade, like, here's the other thing about making a trade, because I am so big on this is your window. You have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl every year. You have to go for it. But I've almost like flipped because for one, whether it's a second pair right defenseman, whether it's a top 6 winger, like no one you would bring in who you would say is available. Like, I don't think anyone you're bringing in with the cap situation is going to make you a Stanley Cup winning team.
Yeah.
So you're just depleting your team down the road, which I've generally been kind of like, who cares? You have McDavid and Draisaitl, go for it. But all of a sudden it's shifted to like, hold on a second. Like, there actually is life after this. It may be way down the road, but it is something that needs to be in the back of your mind. So it's funny. But the thing I was going to say is to the three of you into the text line is Northside Lou made the point. He was like, listen, I'm at the point, I want the Oilers to miss the playoffs so everyone goes nuts and it forces huge changes. I'm curious if fans are in that boat now where they're like, listen, this year has sucked. If we miss the playoffs, at least it'll kind of kick management in the behind and something will happen.
Well, I think number one, that's true today, but if they win tonight, then it's a different conversation.
Fair.
And then the other thing is, and this is why, and I'm not going to get mad, I'm just going to be very level-headed on this. This is why signing no movement clauses for a long time is a bad idea. Because if you have to change in midstream, how are you going to do that? How do you do it? Everybody's signed. Everybody's comfortable. Everybody's buying a big house because they're here for a long, long time. And the Oilers have, like, they have absolutely committed to mediocrity during the McDavid era with long-term contracts that include no movement clauses. The most untradeable contract I've ever seen in my life was the Milan Lucic trade deal. It was unbuyoutable. You couldn't buy it out. And they finally did make a trade, and then they got screwed over by the NHL. But this is what Ken Holland doesn't make trades. He signs people. And Stan Bowman has made trades, and some of them have been really good. I love the Podkolzin deal. I like the Emerson deal. I really like Connor Ingram. But they've also made mistakes. And right now, this team has legitimate needs, and they can't make them. They can't make those changes. That you can't. Here, let me give you an example. Then we'll take a break. Okay, we got Bagnell coming up at 1. We've got declinations coming up at 1:40. You're going to talk about the.
Yeah, I got one for you really quickly at the end of the after you're done here about the modified no trade and all that.
What they need is, and Bowman has done it with like Vasily Podkolzin, but I remember a summer long time ago, 24 years ago, and the Oilers, it was before the cap, but the Oilers were on a real tight budget, and they needed a defenseman. They really did need a veteran defenseman, somebody who could come in and settle down the right side of the defense. They had Jason Smith, fine player, on the right side, top pairing, captain of the team eventually. And they signed the Atlanta Thrashers, got Steve Stais, who was a defenseman forward from Vancouver, and he became their captain in Atlanta for the Thrashers. And unbelievably, the Thrashers cut him loose. He played well. He was their best player. He's their captain. And they let him loose. We don't need you anymore. And the Oilers signed Stais. And at the time, I remember it's like the Oilers signed defense right winger Steve Stais. And do you know he played a long time for this team, and he played extremely well. And he was not paid a high amount when he arrived here. That's what they need. Now, the hard part is going out and getting it right. We'll see. I do like what Bowman does in trades. I do like Podkolzin. I do like Emerson. I liked Frederick. I think he's still going to come around. And I like Spencer Stastny. You wanted to say something before the break.
Do you know how many Oilers forwards don't have a no trade, modified no trade, no move?
Well,
as it stands right now,
Savoy, Podkolzin, Roslovic.
No, he's got one.
Not on this year's deal, though. Isn't it this year's deal?
8-team no move on that one,
yeah,
right?
4-team. 4-team. It's Lazar and it's Kapanen. Matthias Janmark had 5 shifts for 2.5 minutes of ice time.
No movement?
No, Podkolzin's not. You're right with him. Yeah. Podkolzin, Savoy, Lazar, captain. Matthias Janmark played 2.5 minutes last night. He had 5 shifts. He has a modified no trade.
And Szymanski is in the minors, ready to come up anytime they'd like. Well, I'm enjoying this. Do you guys feel better about it?
I feel kind of mad and upset a little bit. Like I feel hot.
I didn't have power last night for 2.5 hours and this morning for 2.5 hours.
That's sorry to hear that. And you still watch the Oilers game?
I did.
That sucks. Sorry to hear that.
Right. With the time I had, I watched the Oilers game. And I was so tired afterward, I had to go right to sleep.
No excuses, anybody. No excuses.
I was not happy with that Oilers game. You know what happens when the Oilers
weren't? Oh my God. I would be the only person in history.
You know what happens when the Oilers don't play well? I can't sleep.
I was happy 13 seconds into the game. That was awesome.
I couldn't sleep. And then because the Oilers were like driving me crazy, I wish they'd play well so I can get a good night's sleep. I'd be happy, Lowetide. Everybody would kumbaya. We'd be dancing, doing the finger wave. It'd be just so good. Playing.
You should start doing TikTok dances like Charlie D'Amelio.
Oh, come on.
All right, Mac, get on that.
Content machine.
Lowdown with Lowetide. Oh, stop it. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Once upon this Saturday night, your heroes on the Edmonton Oil Kings host some extra special royalty in Ice District.
Princess Night at Rogers Place is back as your Regal Oil Kings look to vanquish the left.
Ekholm batted it down, double rear, score, Savoy. Edmonton regains the lead at 5-4. Savoy at 3.9.
He just got enough on that puck to send it wide of the post.
Parker Kelly scores. Oh my goodness, that could be the goal of the year. Parker Kelly. Thunder trying to get out and run here. Kopich running, receiving, and denied. Penny Cunningham putting on a defensive show.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. Like that song. Enjoyable tune. All right. I mean, there's no use talking about anything but the Oilers today. That's what you want to talk about. Jurassic Park says, count me in. And your idea to keep the powder dry this year, it's not worth it. I wrote, keep your powder dry like in 2010. And most of the time, that's the correct thing to do. This year, unless you are completely addled at the deadline, you have to be aggressive. Young Josh over there sleeps a lot, but he did say something really, really vital yesterday. He said, when you have McDavid and Draisaitl in their prime, you can't keep your powder dry. You've got to go all in.
You're not allowed to.
Right. And he's right. Josh Fenwick, year of our Lord 2025,
Amen.
On this day, February 26th, is correct.
On yesterday.
Well, we're going to give you credit both days.
Thanks. Appreciate that. So 2 days. Look at this.
Yeah. So you can't, but you should if you're going to play as poorly as they did last night. Now, Knobloch was, he talked about the goaltending. He felt the goaltending should be better. I thought 2 of the 3 pairings were pretty good. And I like Nurse backing up on the tying goal. You backed in too far. Now, you still want your goalie to stop it, but you need to be a little harder on the puck carrier there. Force him to make a decision. Take it wide or pass it off or dump it in the corner. He allowed that play to get closer to the net than it should have. And then Nurse again in the winning goal. He marked his man well without ever actually impacting the play at all. So he looked like he was doing something, but he wasn't really doing something. And I'm not anti-Darnell Nurse. I'm a big Darnell Nurse fan. He does a lot of things. He plays monster minutes for this NHL team. And he used to spend time on the McDavid line, with the McDavid line, but he doesn't now. He's got a tougher road to hoe. And he does play a lot of minutes against the Leafs. That's not an easy job. And this year, the forwards aren't helping like they should. But even with that, he needs to be better. I've said this before. The idea of trading Darnell Nurse may appeal to you. You can't do it until the summer of 2027, I believe, when his no movement clause eases. And don't be mad at Darnell Nurse about that, because he signed the contract that was offered to him.
And even then, it's a 10 team.
Yeah, no, but
I know it's something, but
no, but what you do, this is what I would do. If they miss the playoffs this summer, I would go to Darnell Nurse and I would say, but clearly this isn't working. And we are going to try something new. And we would like to move you. Who would trade for him in a heartbeat is Kyle Dubas.
It's funny you say that. I was going to ask what the market is on him. Truly.
I was told by a really smart guy, I won't say who it is.
Was it me?
No, somebody in the hockey industry, that you would not believe the capacity that coaches and managers have to believe they can fix that guy. Like, I could get that guy on my team and I could make him into this. And I think with Nurse, everybody sees the enormous talent. He's got fabulous and natural talent. And he's a smart guy. If you want to go into why he's a smart guy, just look at all of the things that he has won in terms of education, in terms of when he was in junior hockey. The test that they always do tests, and he's really smart. This is about executing and thinking quickly on the ice. Not everybody has that. A lot of hockey players are not terrific interviews, but they're really good at quick twitch. I got to be careful. Quick twitch reaction and read and react, closing gaps. Nurse can do some of those things, not others. But that doesn't mean he's unplayable. He just has to play with a certain kind of player and type of player. And I'll just say this in defense of Darnell Nurse. When he's with Evan Bouchard, he plays well. He has not had a player his equal as a defenseman in many years. I guess Adam Larson, Key and Cody Ceci played well. I agree you shouldn't sit back ever with McDavid and Draisaitl. Look at Florida, Tampa Bay, and other teams that are good every year. Good GMs and front offices can always adjust and do things and make a run every year. Cheeseburger. But Cheeseburger, if I may call you. Cheeseburger. If I'm Stan Bowman, and I've been a boss in my life. I don't like it. But I have, and I think I was probably pretty fair. That's my belief. But I think if Stan Bowman is fair to himself, he's going to say, I don't know if my coach is getting everything out of the players that I gave him. And if he establishes that in his own mind, then he has to say, are these players dogging it? Or is my coach not able to reach them? Or are they no longer listening to him? Are they, as Craig McTavish said, has Knobloch spent too long at the fair? Too long at the fair, They're not listening to me anymore.
Crazy thing to ask after 2.5 seasons.
It is, but how long is the
And
average
two Stanley
coach?
Cup finalists.
How long
It's
does
2.5 seasons.
Yeah, it doesn't last long. And I'm not saying they quit on him. I'm not saying this team is a coach killer. But in the last 10 games, they look uninspired. In fact, they look a little bit uninterested.
See, I don't even know if they look uninspired. I just think they look beat down. They look worn out.
Well, tired for sure, but who should be tired? McDavid, who played 22 minutes, or the rest of the team?
No, I'm not even saying, they just look like defeated. Like, they don't look like they don't want it bad. They just look like we can't, and that's why they have this defeatist attitude to them.
They played a lot of hockey in the last 2 years, so maybe that's part of it too.
A lot of the core, yeah, but there are a lot of guys who look uninspired who weren't here.
But are they back in the old days? We would talk on the
2005,
something like that, on the old Argus Fair. We talk about, we always spend, all of us as fans, we spend time talking about the guys we love, the character guys, right? But really, hockey is, you've got your kings and aces and your jacks, and then you've got your 6s and 7s and 9s. And the Oilers have tremendous kings and aces and jacks, but they can't figure out the 6s and 7s and 9s. And this is through several general managers and through several coaches. So is it that these players are not able to find the groove because they're not on the ice enough? The numbers suggest that's not true. 22 minutes a night for the third and fourth line at 5-on-5. That's a lot. Or is it that they don't play the same style that McDavid and Draisaitl want to play? Or they want to anyway? They want to be more freewheeling when they should not be? I don't have the answer. But I think part of it is, at least now, they've got a lot of players on this roster who are over 30 and are signed to no movement clauses and are still going to be here next year. And they don't have enough Savoys and Ike Howards and Spencer Stastny's and Ty Embersons and Vasily Podkolzins. And they need those guys. They need, if Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway were here, well, I think we'd be having a different conversation. You got young legs, you guys who pick up the pace, move up and down the lineup.
There's a reason they're not here. It's because they were better than what they were.
Well, they rejected, along with their agents, they rejected the Oilers' assessment of them. There is a thing that happens where teams fall in love with other players, teams on other players' teams. They prefer another player to their own.
Oilers have done it a lot. Scouting. Yeah. With Arvidsson and with Skinner and with Mangiapane and with Frederick.
No.
Their pro scouts they've got to be some of the worst in hockey.
But here's the thing. Are the pro scouts making those decisions, or is it the GM making those decisions?
Well, if Stan Bowman's not listening to his pro scouts, then I think that's a serious issue.
That's
I had read the scouts.
4 serious.
I had read the scouts and the analytics team didn't want Frederick on an 8-year deal, and Bowman went rogue on that.
Well, he can. Bowman can go rogue.
But if they were like, "Hey, man, just sign him to 7. That's what the new world order is going to be as of next year with the CBA," and he was like, "Well, I could just get him for 8." That's not that big a difference. But if they were like, "Hey, don't sign Frederick to more than like 3 years. We think he's going to age incredibly poorly." It's like, no, we need that guy for 8 years. It's the only way he's going to sign.
Look, I love Trent Frederick. I mean, I watched him play for the Bruins, and I was excited to have him come here. And I still am. I'm like Mackenzie said, I'm a believer. I'm a truther. Is that what you kids say? Truther?
But you would also accept he might also not be good. That's a possibility that's on the table.
Wow.
Oh,
ye of little faith.
Can we maybe I think about when Bill Simmons was talking to Russillo about Alex Sarr's potential, and Ryan was like, okay, but there is also the possibility he just won't be that great.
Well,
that's kind of where we're at with Frederick.
Don't you think he's coming along now? He's been playing better. No,
I think he's been playing better for sure. I also think 55 games into year 1 of an 8-year contract. What is it? 1 goal, 2 assists, and he's -13.
Sure, bad. Look at the negative.
But
know, and maybe you're right.
Always with the
It'd be
negative.
awesome if you're right. Because again, I always say this, like I'm a fan first, but like I just think we have to address the possibility that like maybe actually it won't work out.
So negative.
But also, just really quickly, I feel like this is very, very similar to the Connor Brown situation, the Warren Fogle situation as well. Because Warren Fogle
to her.
was
Could be.
not
Very
good
true. Could
that
be.
first year he was here. And then he figured it out. And you know what? It's probably a combination of finding his way after his injury and then also not having any confidence. Because when he was out there, and not knowing his role, because when he was out there, he was just kind of skating around, trying to figure it out. And last night, he was at least like giving Mangiapane a couple looks. I think he gave one to Pod Colson as well. They didn't convert.
He
but
also
at
had
least,
a great move on the net himself.
Exactly. So it's that's a great night for Frederick to build off of. And I like this first year is not good, but there is a lot of time. And if this is the worst that we see, I'm fine with that. I can live with that.
Also,
well, yeah, if this is the worst we can see, that'd be tremendous because it's been pretty terrible. Like if it's worse than this, I'm not sure I want to see it.
Hey, man, maybe next year he has 4 points and everything will be A-okay.
Also, we knew that he had a high ankle sprain. And I said a long time, people were like, oh, he will never recover. I said, well, he was injured again in April. So if it's like 8 months, that's Jan, Feb that he would start coming around again. Last night in Anaheim, according to NHL Edge, he had his fastest shift of the year. About NHL average, which he's not a burner, but he's certainly been faster in his career. I think that young Mackenzie mentioned Connor Brown. I think that's a pretty good comp. And we'll see. There's no guarantees, but it's more encouraging than it was, say, October, November, and December.
I guess my final point would be that like if Connor Brown is the best case scenario in year one of a guy in an 8-year deal, like that's also just not the best place to be. And it's, of course,
Connor Brown was pretty nails in the playoffs.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah, he was.
Frederick isn't making $6.5 million, boys.
And Connor Brown became too
something,
expensive for the Oilers to keep around. So I said this like a few weeks ago. I was like, they are probably like Trent Frederick is trying to be that Connor Brown, or they want Trent Frederick to be that Connor Brown prototype so they don't lose him and he's too expensive.
Yeah, like I don't disagree, and I'm very hopeful things work, but I have a tough time.
But we can't prove what you're asking us to prove.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So it becomes
but you can't prove what I'm asking you to disprove.
No, it's true. But we can look at the trends, and the trends are sort of like you're betting. It's getting better every year.
My trend, that's a bad example because my trends go down.
What do you mean?
I know. I wish.
He's not that
true.
smart a guy.
I'm not that much for sure.
Well, have you been spending money you couldn't afford?
No, never.
Do you because I could, slide you a 20.
Now, once I found out your bank code, like there's nothing I can't afford.
Boy, after Christmas, I think somebody did. Holy moly! You ever spend too much money on something?
Constantly.
Always.
Myself. Because I don't have anyone else to spend it on, so it's just myself.
You have a Rodney Dangerfield approach to relationships. And,
well, it looks good on you, though.
Why don't you call me sometimes? You got no class.
Yeah. So, anyways, every once in a while I'll get home. I'll be like,
nice
man, I've spent too much money.
Would you like us to help you find a
no,
young
that's
lady
okay.
that you can
that's okay.
spend
You
money
and
on?
Duke.
Me? No, I think Duke has got his own thing going on. I got my own thing going on.
I think you're a good looking fella.
Hey, I'm not disagreeing.
We got to
with
get you
on
more
any of
camera
this,
time.
But I feel pretty okay with the
I think you
prospects
dress
that
well
I
enough.
have.
You go to the bathroom a lot. I don't know what that's about, but
small bladder.
Okay,
for sure. And I drink a lot of water.
Okay.
But
these are all positives.
We don't need to try to let's try to fix the Oilers before we try to fix my love life, because I honestly think it's more hapless than what's going on.
So you drink a lot of water. You're into health. You're a health nut.
If you looked at me, you would not agree with that, but sure.
Well, you're able to survive a long, cold winter.
This is true. That's called flubber.
It's like having your own blanket when you're next to somebody.
My chest is pretty hairy. Yep.
All right. That's all. We can't go any farther. Otherwise, HR gets involved. Okay. On the way.
She retired.
It's party time. All right. Declinations on the way at 1:40. We're going to talk about March Madness. It was going to be a blast. We have Bagged Milk straight ahead. And we're going to talk more Oilers because you've got more things to say. It's all on the way. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. It's time for an update with Mackenzie.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors Inc. Floors done right for homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom at 11577 149th Street. Now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 to 2, or visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring your next flooring project to life. 12 games on the slate in the NHL tonight. The Oilers look to bounce back against the Kings tonight at 8:30. We've got pregame coverage with Andrew Walker starting at 7. Columbus meets Boston. Islanders are in Montreal. Toronto continues on their road trip in Florida. The Wild and Avalanche duke it out in the Central. Calgary takes on the Sharks. It's a busy night in the association as well. 10 games on deck. Miami and 76ers tip off at 5. The Spurs are in Brooklyn. Wizards have a rematch in Atlanta. Orlando looks to make it 3 in a row against the Rockets. Timberwolves and Clippers have the late slate. PWHL is back tonight as well with Montreal in New York. No word on if Marie-Philippe Poulin will be in the lineup. Blue Jays pitcher Max Scherzer is expected at Blue Jays camp this weekend after signing a 1-year, $3 million contract with up to $10 million in incentives. I'm Mackenzie, and that's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
Hey, Edmonton. Did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, Junior Chicken, or Chicken Snack Wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
Edmonton's go-to station for all things sports is Sports 1440.
From Lowetide to Kevin Carius and Jason Greger, we deliver the latest on your favorite teams.
Tune in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week
to Sports 1440.
1 in 3 adults don't get enough sleep. The Brick is here to help with deals on your entire bed. Save up to 50% off clearance mattresses, 50% off beds when you buy any 3 matching pieces. Buy one, get one half price on Sealy memory foam pillows, and save $100 off any adjustable power base when you buy a mattress over $9.99. Plus, check out other incredible savings in every department. Some exclusions apply. Check out The Brick at South Common, West Edmonton Mall, North Side, and downtown.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440, a little after 1 o'clock. Beautiful day. I so love spring, and it's finally here and won't go away. We are absolutely in the spring mode now, just in time. A Lowdown brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick, family-owned, community-driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. Joined now by our friend Bagged Milk. Bagged Milk, I was thinking about Frank midway through the second period last night, and I thought, maybe we need him to have like an extra curricular activity that is different. Like stamp collecting or something.
Yeah. He is now 3 games under 500, Al. This is the first time this has ever happened to him. So we are in uncharted territories. We've done Frank's picks now for 8 years, and it's the first time it's ever happened. And, as the first period lead evaporated, then the second period lead evaporated, and then again in the third, he was looking very concerned. He even went off to his kennel. He picked up a book, started reading. He put his little bifocals on, and he goes, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. So he's back in the research. He's back in the numbers. We've got another chance today against the Kings. So spirits are not broken, Al, although the vibes are not high.
It's a tough run for everybody, but you always feel sorry for the dog when they're taking it personally. I don't know how to start the conversation, because aside from going to the Grand Canyon and giving out a primal scream, from an Oilers fan point of view, the last 10 games have been beyond frustrating. Do you put that game in with the other 9, or was this a one-off and they needed to get the legs moving again and they'll be better moving forward, in your opinion?
Well, my concern yesterday before the game was, how sloppy is this going to be? And I meant that for both sides, because they had obviously been off for 3 weeks outside of the players that got to play in the Olympics. So I was worried about how sloppy the Oilers would be in general, but I also knew that it went both ways. And that one was extremely frustrating, because not only did they lose in regulation with just over a minute left to go, but they blew 3 separate leads. They had 2 2-goal leads in the same game, and it was like we were watching the same ending to a movie over and over again. They would build a lead, give it back, build a lead, give it back. So I know the last 10 games have been just a general ball of frustration, but last night's, and maybe it's the recency bias of how they lost, but man, that one is right up there for me.
I don't know. I sort of play along at home with the Oilers, and I looked at the lines and I thought, okay, they're asking Leon to have Roslovic and Savoy without his normal line mates. I thought that line played well. I thought the top line played well. I liked the third line, and I thought Lazar played well. The goaltending was just so poor, and then the second pairing with Nurse was had some tough moments too. So, if we're looking for encouragement, I know we can say Matt Savoy, but I also like the top line. What are the odds, being hopeful here, that was, the end of a poor streak that's going to be followed by 10 great games?
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I mean, if we're going to look at the silver linings from last night's game, then I think it is that the Oilers put up 5 goals on the board. I think, I know we're going to take Savoy out of the conversation, but a 3-point game for Savoy. Jack Roslovic got on the board at a time when we needed him to get going. Zach Hyman picked up right where he left off before the break. Nugent Hopkins got the 2 points. McDavid got 2 points. So there are some positives to draw from that, but able to hang on to that win and not being able to flex the killer instinct and not being able to get the saves you needed from Jari at key moments of the game was, there are huge details that need to get cleaned up. So while I'm absolutely bullish on the Oilers and thinking that they can turn this around and go rip off 5-6 wins in a row, even though we just got our first 3-game win streak before the break, I still believe they can do that. But man, if they're getting 800 goaltending, then it almost doesn't matter what's happening out front. Last night was a big mess for Tristan Jari, and I think he could be better. The numbers suggest, and the history suggests he can be better, but it's really disappointing to give up a game like that to a divisional opponent and then watch them leapfrog you in the standings when the night was over. So yeah, they can be better, but man, some of the details they're missing on are massive.
What are the chances that I think we'll see him tonight, but do you think that Connor Ingram has a chance to emerge as the starter here?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. I think that, his numbers, if you look at the numbers from last night, they weren't great, but he also got thrown in a horrible situation in the third period. So I give him a pass on last night. He only let in the 1 goal. I would hang that more on Darnell Nurse than I would on Connor Ingram. But absolutely, there's a chance, because right now the Oilers have to treat their goaltending as a meritocracy, and whoever is playing better gets the minutes. And I would even include Calvin Pickard in there. Who knows what our pal Cal's doing right now, but while this is going on, but whoever plays the best and gives you the best goaltending should be the one getting the minutes. And I don't really care what the contract says. the Oilers have done a refresh on their goaltending this year. We've got 2 new guys between the pipes, and contract numbers aside, doesn't matter to me. It's whoever is stopping the most pucks should be getting the minutes. And if that's Connor Ingram, that's great. And if it's Tristan Jarry that can turn it around and that's him, then that's fantastic too. But at the end of the day, I really don't care who gets the job done as long as somebody is getting the job done.
Back Melcar guest from Oilers Nation on Sports 1440 and YouTube. I know you interact with a ton of Oilers fans. What's the general mood of the folks that you are talking to right now?
Anger, confusion, bewilderment. It's all the things that, everybody was excited to sit down and watch an Oilers game last night after the Olympic break, and then to have it go that way. Like, the comments on the website are angry. They're dark. How is the team this good look so poor? Why is the bottom 6 not able to contribute in a meaningful way? And I say that knowing that the third line actually had a decent night last night, but it is so confusing and baffling how the pieces just never seem to slot in together. It's like they've got all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle, but nothing's fitting where it should right now. And I think the tone of our comment section on social, on the websites and on our podcasts is just general confusion. It's just general confusion of how this has gone on this long. We've seen the Oilers have bad starts the last 2 seasons. And again, they did it this year, but they managed to pull out of it before. And this year, it doesn't look like there are many indications that they're going to do that. So general confusion, I think, is probably the most accurate description of the fan base right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And it's hard because I sit here and I go, well, I know they need Darnell Nurse, so you've got to figure that out. I really liked the third line. Like I'd like to see that third line again tonight. And so a lot went well. And I don't want, I think you traded for Tristan Jarry. You've got to give him this year and next, to see what he can do. But maybe he does it as the 1B, and they'll just have to live with that if they ended up getting a better goaltender there. What are you writing about, thinking about, and talking about over there in terms of the trade deadline?
That is going to be a fascinating day for the Oilers because as we are sitting today, they don't have a lot of cap space. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Stan Bowman can't pull any moves off, but as I'm looking at Puckpedia right now, their projected cap space is $2,627. So we're getting a 1987 Ford Escort GT kind of money. So I don't know what that means for the trade deadline, but at the same point, I'm also hopeful because if we remember a handful of years ago, they were up against the cap very, very tightly when Ken Holland pulled off the Matthias Ekholm trade, which sent Tyson Barrie out of town. So I'm still hopeful of hearing a bunch of rumors from the insiders saying that the Oilers are looking for a right-handed defenseman that can slot into the top 4. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Bob Stauffer even kind of floated the same thing last night on the broadcast. So if we can upgrade the defense with a tangible asset that can play every night, I think that's a nice upgrade. But I also would love to see some work done on the bottom 6 where there's just, maybe it's not the skill that's a problem, but maybe the better fit of people who want to accept a role in that spot and have a history of kind of producing with those minutes. So those are kind of the 2 areas that I would like to see the Oilers improve. The defenseman would probably be my top pick if it was between those 2 items, but that's kind of where I see the Oilers going. I imagine we'll also get some nibbling around the edges, trades, maybe some depth, but with the lack of cap space and few assets to move out, it's going to be tricky, but I'm glad that's not our job now.
Well, I spent a long time talking prospects on the blog. So my blog often is, talking about, young players replacing old players and why it's overdue and should happen. But I will be honest with you, I had a hard time figuring out why Josh Szymanski was in the minor leagues and Matthias Janmark is in the NHL. Do you have similar feelings?
Yeah, I mean, the numbers are the numbers, right? And unfortunately, over the last couple of years, in terms of production, it hasn't gone very well for Matthias Janmark. And it's hard to ignore that when he's a guy who's playing every night. I know he got banged up last night, which is definitely unfortunate. But I also think that this is a guy that could probably, get an upgrade. And that's the hard part about pro sports is that it's very cold. And, how you produce on the ice matters. But I wonder how much of that, and I don't know because I'm not smart enough. I'm not running Puckpedia or anything like that. But I wonder how much of the modified no trade clause factors into that with a player like Matthias Janmark. But yeah, I would love to see Josh Szymanski, a little bit more youth, a little bit more enthusiasm. You have to live by the sword, die by the sword when you call up youngsters and expect that they make mistakes. And maybe that's part of the problem as well. This coaching staff's a little gun shy because they're already making more than enough mistakes without youngsters in the lineup. But it really is confusing because there's a black hole for offense in that bottom six right now. And if there's a youngster like a Szymanski that could come in and bolster that, then we got to make that move. We got to figure it out.
Paul Coffey, signs of him, taking over on the defensive side. I thought Evan Bouchard sliding down for the goal was a nice touch, and they were using, quicker outlet passes, but also under control. But that's an observation. It's one night. It might have just been the luck of the draw and the way the chessboard set up for the defenders when they had the puck. What are you hoping to get out of Paul Coffey's coaching here from the Oilers in terms of A, puck movement, and B, in terms of what Vincent Desharnais once called Coffey's ability to convince defensemen they had more time?
Yeah, I think the first thing that comes out as you're asking the question is the breakout. I think that the Oilers breakout has been a mess this year. And there's things that drive me nuts, like when the forwards specifically fly the zone early and then the defensemen have to make a 100-foot bomb pass to the other blue line or something like that. But I think moving the puck from the defensemen up to the forwards quickly and efficiently is an area that the Oilers desperately need some help. And under Paul Coffey, I thought that they did a much better job of moving the puck north-south than we've seen earlier in the season. So if there's one thing that I would love for Mr. Coffey to fix ASAP, it would be the breakout. Let's get the puck out of our zone as quickly as humanly possible and onto Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl's stick. I think that's the quickest path to some success for Coffey. And then after that, the zone awareness and the puck support and the puck management in the defensive zone all need some work. But one quick fix that I would love to see is just improving that breakout.
Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, so when does Frank make his prediction?
So we're going to get him out for a walk because, like you said in the intro, it's a beautiful day in the city today. So we're going to let him go do some running and some sniffing and get some energy out. And then hopefully tonight he can make a quality pick that gets him and the team back on the rails, provided that he does choose the Oilers to beat the Kings. We'll see. But early afternoon now. We'll get it up early afternoon.
Beautiful. Look forward to it. Thanks, man. Have a great day.
Thanks, Al.
There you go. Bagnell, Oilers Nation. A few hours ago, Ryan Rishaug tweeted out, for those asking, I'm told Oilers are not in the mix on Myers. If that's not out there yet. Myers makes a lot of money. The Oilers, Mangiapane, if they can trade him, then they can take back that amount and $2,700 in the cap. My own suspicion is if they're looking for a right-handed defenseman for Nurse, it might be a superior passer, somebody who can move the puck quickly, under control, and not ice the puck. We'll see. I started writing about the Edmonton Oilers in 2003 on a blog called Lowetide, and I was always shocked at how many people would come to visit. And I just wrote it as a kind of an outlet, like an emotional outlet, and I've loved doing it. And I'm even more than that. I love that it's turned into a career for me, and I'm thrilled to do what I do, and I hope I can do it for a long time. And so does Declan. But there are times when you interact with fans as much as I do or Bag Milk does, where you are legitimately, not that you feel sorry for them, but you feel like this much sadness is too much sorrow, as Neil Young said in a song. And, I hope you enjoy the outside. I hope you enjoy a Jays game. I hope that you come back to the Oilers when they're doing really, really well. But, if you're really down about this in terms of like how you feel, like emotionally, if you're stressed, then it's derailing your day and maybe you're a little snippy. Often Declan will be like that, not about the Oilers, just as a natural course of things. Maybe just step back. I say this every once in a while. I've had to do it in my life a few times. And, sports is fun and it's supposed to be fun, but it also can hurt a lot. We know that Josh has had several setbacks over the last year or so. The Toronto Blue Jays, the Flames every day. and then the Olympic loss in hockey. So that's an example. I mean, if Josh wants to do something else, stare at a cloud for a while, I think that's just fine.
No,
And
I keep putting myself through the pain.
You enjoy the pain. You feel like you're alive with the pain.
Yeah, especially because I know I'm right. And in 2029, the Flames will host the Stanley Cup. First Canadian team to do so since the 90s.
Yeah.
And that'll be pretty cool. And I'll get to come on here and I'll tell everybody I'm wrong. And you won't work here anymore. You'll be, talking about expected goals for and against to the wall in a rocking chair. And I'll tweet you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, Lowetide, I was right.
Yeah. And I'll go, who's that?
Yeah.
I will say this, that when the Eagles won the first Super Bowl, it had been so long since a team that I actively cheer for won anything that I spent over a year just in a state of absolute delight. And I wish that for you, Josh.
Oh, I watched the Raptors win a championship.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. But I wish it for you as a Flames fan.
Oh, that'll happen. Don't worry.
Yeah. And
they're not the Leafs.
And for you, I hope Jimmy wins a championship.
Well, that's never going to happen.
Maybe as a coach.
That'd be cool. Yeah, listen, next year. That's the last chance.
You know what's funny about you? You are absolutely a rational human being.
Yeah.
But you are
passionate.
But you make definitive statements that nobody could ever back down from, and then you alter it a little bit. Like you said when Jimmy got hurt, you're like, he's never going to win. That's it. That's over. It's done. And now you're like, next year is the last chance.
I think to be fair to me, I might have said at the time he had one more year.
Don't think so.
I don't know.
And with Josh Allen, you were like, he can't win. He can't win. He's done.
Yep.
And now there's a little bit of hope, Bill. It's churning. It's like, I think I can. I think I can. You're that train. You're that train, man. I think I can. I know I can. I know I can.
I don't think you're wrong at all. I think you're very right. I do think you gave two examples I might not necessarily agree with.
Josh Allen being one of them.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't know.
I think it's the Bills. It's not
You
Josh
gotta
Allen.
have faith, man. Like I was a Philadelphia Eagles fan in '73, and then just a few years later, they won the Super Bowl.
A few years?
Hey, man, it was only 43 years.
Trying to run them numbers.
43 years. Oh,
Not-
44 years. My
No
apologies.
time at all. I went from 8 tracks to cassettes and whatever we're using now. What are
Laser
we using?
discs. You had laser
Oh
discs.
yeah, for sure. I had an L cassette. Look that up.
Ooh.
You know what those were?
Not a
There's
chance.
these honking things that are high quality. Sony, I think. They had. It was like having an 8-track on a cassette.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
In your car?
No, they were too big. Everything weighed 700 pounds. When you look
Yeah.
at the old stereos, they were all heavy, man. The speakers were like a tree.
Did you carry one around on your shoulder?
They had a ghetto blaster.
Nice.
That big honking thing. I actually got somebody came to this was in Red Deer. Somebody came to the park I was in with my girlfriend and then wife, and I was playing Jump by Van Halen on the ghetto blaster, and they said, turn that thing down, like my dad would. And I
Nice.
did, because I'm a Canadian.
Mm.
All right. We'll take a break. More Oilers talk. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Hello.
You're never going to believe this. Booster Juice called your name today. You can get a free smoothie or acai bowl.
No way. Heading there now.
Oh my gosh, you and my brother have the same name. Okay, I'm calling him next. I'm hanging up.
Booster Juice Names of the Day is back. 2 names are selected each day, and if your name matches, you can get a free smoothie or an acai bowl. Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. Must be an app member to qualify. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
Are you looking for safe and professional transportation solutions for your group events and sports teams? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the 2 best names in the boots business.
From high sticking to breaking down the middle. Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. At 124, coming up at 140 today, it's Declinations. We're going to talk March Madness and other things. Jay in Victoria says, Lowetide, good advice about stepping back. Myself personally, I've lost a lot of my quality of life aspects due to my medical situation with injuries, mental and physical, from the Army. I now listen to your station and text a lot, as it's the last few things that I have that bring me joy, and I feel normal. Yes, sports have been tough lately, at least for the Seahawks, until the Seahawks won. I listen from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. daily. So good for my mental health. Love the shows. Jay and Victoria, thank you so much, and thank you for your service. I am reminded almost daily by my neighbors, husband and wife, who are both in the military, and you know, had some time, and you know, I think we always appreciate the military, but we don't always acknowledge or realize the things that occur that maybe do impact lifestyle after you're done with your service. So thank you so much, and it means a lot to us. And keeping us safe has been a tough job, and it continues to be. But we are enjoying the life that we have today because of you, Jay, and I want to thank you. I've been dead inside since the 2024 Cup Finals loss. Why stop now? From Spaghetti. Oh, I've been thinking about spaghetti for a while now. Spaghetti's good. Sports is tribalism. If you're really invested in your tribe, it's going to hurt. But if you can't stand back and appreciate not just the slaughter, but the grace and elegance of the butchery, you're onto something. From Jay. Perplexed Oilers fan? I agree. Well, I'm perplexed. Fitting at Oilers management daily. I usually don't feel despair by any means. However, it does feel like Canadians are getting stomped on by Americans a ton. No Canada Cups or gold medals. Trump, Kachuk's taunts, tariffs, and the cold, snowy, long, lonely winters. He didn't say lonely. I put that in. I do not know why. I don't know. I don't know why I said that. After long work days, we Albertans are looking to Oilers to pick up our day because we have McDavid, but it's not happening. Maybe step away from time to time helps and stay away from crappy news because that's not getting any better. Yeesh. Perplexed Oilers fan. Okay. My dad was in World War II. And so I view the world a lot through his eyes. He was an individual who lost a brother he was close to in the war. It was the only time that I ever recall him being emotional. That generation didn't allow themselves to be emotional. I cry like a baby. He never did. But when we talk about mental health and we talk about courage and we talk about all of those things and things that get us down, you have to allow yourself to get down about things that are out of your control. And so when you talk about taunts or Trump or crappy news, it's important to remember that each of us has a responsibility to ourselves and to the people around us that we love, to enter each day doing our best to make the world around us a better place. There are always elements, and there always have been, human nature, I guess, of people who would prefer that everybody backs down, looks away, walks along, doesn't say anything, doesn't speak out, and doesn't make known that things that are unacceptable are in fact unacceptable. So what I would say to you, perplexed Oilers fan, is that you can't do anything about a lot of the things that you read and hear on the television or on the radio in terms of the news. What you can do is you can make a difference in the life that you lead, and that may inspire people around you. So don't give up hope. Don't be down. Be positive. Understand that there's a season for everything, including this. It's just been a long time since this occurred. So there will be another day. I will say personally that I have a lot of guilt personally because my dad fought in World War II. My dad had the hardships. My dad had experienced polio, not personally, but his sister did. He went through the Depression. He had these things that impacted his life. And what he wanted for me was a better life. And I got it. I got universal health care. I've never had to worry about a job. I've had a comfortable life. And now I'm handing off a world to my children that is much less than the world that I got. I was 20 years old when I signed to a radio station, and I had universal health care, and anything I needed, I would get at 10 cents on the dollar. That's not promised to this generation that's coming up behind us. And so in a way, what's happened is my generation, my group, was born into and flourished with great wealth. And then when we had an opportunity to pass it along, we decided to close the spigot and just keep it to ourselves. So what you need to do is change that. You need to, step by step, give hope to young people, to give opportunity to young people, and to share the wealth, not hold it dear, and not keep it for yourself. And when that happens, when that moment occurs, the world will go back to being a much more hopeful place than it is today. The world outside sports is ugly right now. This is from Soggy Corpse. Loving the names today. Cheeseburger, Soggy Corpse. This is something I'd like to focus on as the gross outside world is being gross and ugly. I had an amazing experience waking up with my son this year to watch the gold medal. Despite the loss, it was a really special moment I look forward to living again in 4 years. It's nice to have an escape focused on generally good people. Well done. And I agree. And, I think you have to embrace what is good in life. The women's hockey has taken a hit this week because of ignorant people not understanding what it means to people. My daughter and I have gone to many NHL games. She ended up being a Ottawa Senators and Philadelphia Flyers fan. I don't know why. It's Giroux. She likes Giroux and Erik Karlsson. But she got involved in women's hockey. She was a fan of the New York Riveters. Best logo I've seen in a long time for a professional hockey team. And so it matters to her. And I wish I could say that I'm so sophisticated it mattered to me just because I love it. But because it mattered to her, it meant a lot to me. And I just think that it's easy to see the world as being negative and everybody seems to feel the same way and it's not agreeable to you. And you're like, what planet am I living on? But the truth is, we've always been a little bit divided on things. And right now, it's pretty callous for a lot of people. But we'll get back there. We will. That's the way the world turns. And it'll be a better day someday. But we need to keep focus on young people. And I think that it's important because I talk to a lot of guys my generation who own businesses and they'll say things like, these kids today, they don't work hard enough. Okay. But when you're not offering them much, why would they? I had opportunities to work for good money with coverage and to build a life. And I did. And we had a family and we've lived a wonderful life. Well, why don't you check with somebody who's 25 years old right now and see what kind of coverage they have and what kind of job they have and how long they've been at their job. If you want loyalty, then you have to invite loyalty by being good to people. And I think my generation has to learn that later in life, mind you, but it's an important lesson. I had to delete Twitter because of how toxic the last month or so helps my mentals. One thing that I really want to say to Twitter that they've done really well is you've got a tab called following, and then I have hockey and baseball tabs. And so the For You I never go on to. The For You is not for me. So I love the following and I love the baseball and I love the hockey. And maybe that's what you should do is don't go to the For You. The For You it should be not for you. You still got all your information from your people. You still have your friends. You still have your DM. Little inside sports, I sometimes DM Declan and he sees it a week and a half later because Declan uses the phone. Don't you?
We don't talk much, but when we do, I might be a little late to the dance on replying.
I don't know. I think you're pretty good at getting...
No, I think we're fine. Well, it's because it's like everything we talk about is work. So I'm not going to, take my time to get around to that when something's pertinent.
No.
For anyone who's wondering, all those jokes Lowetide makes about you'll never come to my house, that's all real.
Yeah.
He means that. He's even shocked I just implied it was a joke.
I started in radio in 1980. I partied with everybody. And I've been through that. And I've done terrible things in their living rooms. These are the last few texts I've gotten from Declan. We should, yep.
I said that?
It's in the same link as last week, but yes, we can send Lansky another one. Oh, okay. My apologies. Are you in today, Al? I was in the building. I texted him, no response so far. Oh, too bad. Ladies and gentlemen, Declan Krueger.
That's what it is, baby. That is the relationship we have. This is the company we keep.
I text beautiful things to you.
No.
Yeah.
Let me pull them up here. Let's do a little Uno
It's
reverse.
just lovely things. Rachel is a gopher today.
Yeah.
Can you send Steve the link?
Well, this one was funny. Old people in technology, am I right? That's a lighthearted moment.
I should have deleted that. Yes, I'm in the back doing prep. See? So good.
Well, you missed this one out. Absolutely separate text. Yay! Exclamation point. So that's not. Come on now.
It's all me. Okay. On the way, declinations. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacing, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All Star Construction is all about.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, Junior Chicken, or Chicken Snack Wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers the Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
The weather doesn't care about your shift or your schedule. Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts let you battle back against the ever-changing elements. Carhartt's durable, water-repellent technology lets light rain beat up and roll right off. Layer up and stay on the job longer without getting drenched. Get your Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts at all 3 of our Edmonton job site workwear locations.
Job site workwear, tough different jobs.
This is the sound of a Toyota Tundra hauling a custom, fully furnished ice hut out to the lake. And this is the sound of a Tundra hauling home some store-bought frozen cod when the lake didn't deliver. 2 extremes, 1 Tundra with serious towing capacity. Now's the time to get yours. It's time to Toyota. Lease a 2026 Tundra 4x4 double cab SR5 from $149 weekly for 60 months at 5.29% with $8,199 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. Andrew says, who would LT give a no movement clause to, Declan or Fenwick? Both, actually. They're both very bright people. Radio industry needs great people like that. I don't know what they'll do in their life, but And I would also say that Mackenzie probably has earned and deserves one too. Very bright person, very capable.
You're just the Oilers. You're giving them to everyone.
But I don't have any Yanmarks. I got young people on the way up. Think about it. If I'm in industry like radio, man, I should be working my ass off to make sure Declan Krueger spends the next 40 years in the industry. You can do great things.
Yeah.
You could make companies a lot of money, sir. Never forget that.
I want to make the shareholders money.
There you go. Time for Declinations, brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and more breaking down the green and gold. The most in-depth Double E football coverage online, elksnation.ca. Now he is here. Who knows where he'll be 10 years from now? I guess I'll be bringing his car around and driving him home. Here's Declan Krueger.
Okay, Declan CAA, I got a cool one today. So I've been talking a lot about Miami of Ohio and the season they've had and how I think it may be fool's gold, but they'll be a popular pick to win a tournament game. I've almost maybe shifted to where they are now, an underrated team. Let me since the tournament expanded to the field of 64 teams in 1985, there have been 7 teams to reach 28-0 in a season. 1991 UNLV, 2005 Illinois, 2014 Wichita State, 2015 Kentucky, 2017 and 2021 Gonzaga. Do you know what all of those teams have in common?
They all have a vowel in them.
They were all 1 seeds.
Oh.
Miami of Ohio, they've also reached 28-0 this season. Their last 3 games are Western Michigan, which is a quad 4 game, Toledo and Ohio, which are both quad 3 games. Do you know where they are projected to be ranked? Per Joe Lenardi, who does his bracketology. They are projected to be an 11th seed. So 7 times a team has reached 28-0. All 7 of those times, that team was a number 1 seed. This team is projected to be an 11 seed. And when you look at their KenPom rating, they're 83rd in KenPom. They're 136th in defense. And they were higher earlier in the year, but they're 21st in the luck rating. So, like, essentially, they're the 21st luckiest team in college basketball. Their net rating of a schedule is 291st. Their net rating for conference schedule is 360th out of 365 teams. And those are their KenPom ratings. Then their net ranking overall is 48th. Still don't have a quad 1 game played. They only have 1 quad 2 game played, which was a win. So this Miami of Ohio team, I think like they've climbed a little bit in KenPom. They've climbed a little bit in net ranking. And I wasn't very high on them to, go deep in the tournament. Maybe they can win a game. But when you look at what they've done, like to get to 28-0 in a season, schedule or not, unbelievable accomplishment. And they're still being disrespected to the point where they're going to be 11th seed. They're actually projected as it stands right now to play St. Louis, who is another mid-major. They're an A10 team. They just lost their first A10 game to VCU, I think a couple days ago. They lost the second one. That would be an incredible matchup of 2 legit Cinderellas who have had great seasons. To put them in the first round, I think would be a travesty. But my point being is the Miami of Ohio team I've been really hard on. At some point, you got to say, hold on a second. Like, this team actually is 28-0. They play a great offensive game. Everyone who's on the court at all points can shoot for that team. Maybe there's something there. And that's cool.
Could you do me a favor? And I know you've done this before, but I think it's important. For those who are listening and are interested but don't know about KenPom, could you just run through it real quick?
Yeah, Mackenzie asked this last week or 2 weeks ago as well. It's a possession by possession offensive and defensive metric. So essentially it is like how well, for lack of a better words, you do per offensive possession, like whether that be turnover rate, whether that be baskets scored, whether that be, shots into shot clock, and the same thing defensively, like how many takeaways you get, how often you let your opponent score. That's compiled and you get a net rating. And the thing about KenPom, 35 and above is generally considered like a historic KenPom rating.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 highest teams this year, Arizona 36.3, Michigan 38.3, actually 38.39, and Duke 38.40. Duke just beat Michigan, by the way. So those are the 3 teams that are like, if you're pointing to a team that can actually win the whole thing, you want to look at those 3.
Interesting. Okay, continue.
I'm pretty much done. UConn beat St. John's by 32 last night.
Right.
That's pretty crazy. St. John's that's a big East rivalry. I don't know if Hurley and Pitino love each other. St. John's last year when they won 30 games, incredible defensive identity. They still have the 15th best KenPom rating defensively, but they're not the same defensive team they were. And their season it just hasn't been what it should be, especially for the way they attack it. Like Rick Pitino's gone out and he's like, we're just going to get older guys in the transfer portal and just have old players as opposed to young one and done freshmen. And it worked out very well last year. Hasn't quite been the case this year.
Draft year aside, opting into the draft this year or opting out aside, just absolutely every heartbeat in NCAA Division I basketball. What player are you most excited about in terms of what they bring that will be at March Madness?
Well, Darren Peterson, for a lot of reasons. Like, I think Darren Peterson is probably going to be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. He's probably the best player in the country. I mean, you can make a debate, like Cam Boozer's up there as well with what he's done at Duke. But the thing about him is he just doesn't play.
Yeah.
Like, he checks himself out of games. He's not really involved in team huddles. Bill Self has gone on record saying, like, I don't really coach this guy. He does everything as an individual, but he's so good when he's actually on the court. Like, he's incredible. And he'll do this thing. He'll play like 17 minutes in the first half, and he'll play 6 in the second half because he just kind of checks himself out of these games.
So can I ask you, like, is he a good interview? Is he a quiet type? Is he a loner? What makes him tick?
You know what's really funny? I've never actually seen an interview of him, now that you asked that. So probably bad. What makes him tick is he wants to go to the NBA.
Right.
He wants to go to the NBA, and he wants to make, like, you know how much the first overall pick from last year's draft is making without ever having stepped on a basketball court? $14 million a year.
Sure.
Pretty awesome.
But you know what? He'll make more. It's not like
he'll make like
not
15
making
or
much
whatever.
now, but later on he'll make more.
Yeah, and he's a great player, and he's going to be a franchise changer if things work out.
The reason I asked that, I remember this is, because my brain works a certain way. In 2011, leading up to the 2011 draft, there was no interview of Sean Couturier. None.
Good player.
0. And I thought maybe he was going to be the best player in that draft. So I wanted to know what how he thought, and I couldn't find anything, like nothing. And so sometimes I think he's probably shy, or maybe he's, there's something about him that makes him not necessarily as social not as gifted socially as he is on the basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be interested in that, because sometimes people go, oh, well, he's aloof, but maybe he isn't. Maybe he just prefers to go through life like that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
But listen, we got a few games left in the regular season. Once we get into tournament conference championship week, and then once the tournament gets selected, we'll have more deep dives, tell you who you should pick, who you should stay away from, all that good stuff. But check KenPom. Check the KenPom ratings before you make your bracket. Just do it.
I'm not going
to. www.kenpom.com.
I'm not doing it. My head hurts.
Wow.
I would like Hawaii to win because I'd like to go there.
Let me check.
Also, Cancun University. And I want Gonzaga to do well. Are they good this year?
So it's funny. They lost to Portland. Portland was like a 10-14 team. Horrible loss. Like quad. I think it might have actually been a quad 4 loss.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Portland last night like 89-40 or something. So they wrote that wrong. I don't think Gonzaga can win it at all. I don't think this Gonzaga team's very good. They've played one. I shouldn't say that, but they played the best team they played this year by far was that Michigan game. They lost that game 101-61.
Ooh.
They play in a week.
Did they fall asleep like Josh?
No, Michigan just beat the piss out of them. They're not bad. They're a popular pick. I always think their record's a little bit inflated, and I think they're probably someone you should stay away from past the Sweet 16.
Okay. So I'll have them in the second weekend then?
Yeah, like their seeding will be favorable. They're not a bad team. I just think like Miami might be fool's gold, all things considered. Gonzaga might be fool's gold of the 16 final teams in the field.
Yeah. Jump Jack Flash says, like you, my dad was in World War II and fought for Britain and then immigrated to Canada. And lucky me, debt owed that I tried to repay daily. There you go. I pride myself in being knowledgeable about the news daily, etc. However, I know the news. I allow in, watch more sports, and go long and enjoy nature. And most importantly, I limit energy vampires in my life to have a more positive mindset. Well done by you. It's hard sometimes, man. It is. And, each of you who has a microphone and this show brings positivity and goodness, except for when you're batting the phones out of people's hands.
That wasn't this show, luckily.
No.
So he's good on that front. And it wasn't on a positive Friday either. So
Listen, we were talking to like Brandon about that. Like, it's been, a bit of a rough week for Sports 1440 and friends, but I kind of made the point. Listen, the Lowdown with Lowetide is like Liechtenstein or Switzerland. We just hang out, do our own thing.
Well, we also are impervious to rust.
Mackenzie's like Mia Thermopolis, Princess of Genovia.
That's a huge compliment.
Little Princess Diaries reference.
Thank you.
Not a big deal.
No.
Elite ball knowledge.
Elite ball knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm like Bruce Boudreau in Slapshot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh, are you ever going to be well?
No.
Should we worry about you?
No. I think I'll be fine. I had that same conversation with a friend of mine earlier this week. I went out to dinner with her. I hadn't seen her in a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Sunday to Monday, slept 1 hour. Just couldn't have a nap during the day. And then I was bartending at a private event that night. And I got home really late or early. Depends on how you want to phrase that, really. And I went, man, I don't think I can go to bed. And then I slept for an hour in a super uncomfortable position. So I did not sleep through my alarm and made it here for work. And I had a very productive day. And she looks at me and says, this is why I worry about you.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Jeff Grishel. Did you ever meet Jeff?
Who?
Jeff Grishel.
Jeff Hushel?
Grishel. He used to work with the Toronto Blue Jays. He's worked with the Oilers. He's a fitness expert and a nutrition expert. He works with athletes the world over, and he works with Major League Baseball. He told me that if you fall asleep like at 9 at night, it's far enough away from midnight that you're going to get the cycle of really good sleep. Mm-hmm. But even if you go to sleep like at 10:30, go to sleep at 10:30 every night. And then when you wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it is, you will feel more rested because your body is conditioned to get those hours of sleep. And after a while, sleep will come easier to you. Now, I mentioned this to my wife, Karen, and she became irritated because she has sleep problems. And I kept saying it like it was easy, like, turning a card in a game of cribbage, a game that I used to talk about a lot and can't anymore because of your generation.
You're not allowed.
Yes. But having said that, that's what you're supposed to do. Go to bed at the same time every night, sleep your 7 hours or whatever. How much sleep do you get?
I slept probably 8 last night. It was awesome.
But on the regular basis, do you get 8?
No, like 6.
Yeah.
That's what I
get
aim
6
for. I aim
so.
for 6.
I wake up all the time.
This just isn't conducive to my schedule, or it wasn't conducive.
No, but isn't it conducive to your schedule because you want to do stuff?
That's not true. I was a bartender for a long time.
Which you wanted to do.
Famously, I did not want to do it. But famously long hours, and then I have to come here in the morning. So
we don't have to
you get to come here in the morning.
You have the privilege of coming here.
I do have the privilege of coming here every morning. Thank you, everybody involved.
All right. Well, thank you to everybody on the show, including Mackenzie, who herds all of the fish into a radio show. And that's what we do. We'll do it again tomorrow with Steve Lansky. Jason Gregor on the way to preview. And don't forget, we've got Walker Steady Talker coming up at 7 o'clock tonight. The pre and the post later on. Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks you. Enjoy your day.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking or buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. 12 games on the slate in the NHL tonight. The Oilers look to bounce back against the Kings at 8:30. We've got pregame coverage with Andrew Walker starting at 7. Columbus meets Boston. Islanders are in Montreal. Toronto continues their road trip in Florida. The Wild and Avalanche duke it out in the Central. And Calgary takes on the Sharks. It's a busy night in the association as well, with 10 games on deck. Miami and 76ers tip off at 5. The Spurs are in Brooklyn. Wizards have a rematch in Atlanta. Orlando looks to make it 3 in a row against the Rockets. Timberwolves and Clippers have the late slate. PWHL is back tonight with Montreal and New York. No word on if Marie-Philippe Poulin will be in the lineup. Blue Jays pitcher Max Scherzer is expected at camp this weekend after signing a 1-year, $3 million contract with up to $10 million in incentives. Next on Sports 1440, The Jason Gregor Show. I'm Mackenzie, and that's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CK